Sorry, Grace, I'm gonna apologize in advance. Everyone's being really loud. Essentially, I just want to give you a quick update, and then I'll kind of tell you what I want to do with this video. So, over the past 2 weeks, I have not really done that much. So we've kind of just been hanging out, watching some TV. I'm really obsessed with this new TV show. It's really good. It's called Houdini and Doyle. Go watch it. It's Canadian too, so definitely check it out. But the only things I've done so far is I went and ordered new glasses. So these things are going to be dying very, very soon, thank God, because I can't see. But essentially right now, I'm just enjoying the fact that it's actually 10 o'clock and it's warm outside. The past 2 nights, it has, by about 12 o'clock at night, freezing rained, which is like, what? It's May, please stop. And I've gone to the stepmom with my gym. I've gone to the gym with my stepmom. So yeah, that's kind of my update. Today, kind of what I wanted to do, I was going to talk about gender and sexuality specifically, but I think they're both such large topics that I think it might be better if I just talk about gender today. But also, I'm assuming you saw on Facebook, I asked if people had any questions about my gender or sexuality. But yeah, like, I was just kind of interested to see, because I've found since I've came out, most people don't understand what that means, and I think it's because gender is very specific to every single person. Each person may have an identifying term that applies to them, like I use bigender, but my version of bigender is different than someone else's. I figured this would be the best way for me to kind of get it out there, not only to you, but to anyone else who's watching. The kind of questions that I get asked all the time. Okay, so I'm back. I'm sorry, I actually had to write everything down on a notepad because I couldn't read it off my phone because it's so sunny outside. The gender tag is a series of 10 questions that was asked by this person online. I don't know their gender or their preferred pronouns, so I'm just going to use they, so I apologize for that. But I will look it up and I will put it down in the description for you so that you can kind of look up the gender tag. Pronouns is still a relatively new thing to me. I grew up in a town where everyone self-identified, as far as I knew, as boys or girls, and I didn't even know that there were other options until pretty recently, actually. At least maybe 4 years ago, I learned about trans people, and I just thought you switched from one gender to another, and it's only recently that I learned that there are other things in between, right? I'm trying to be better about it. I apologize if I misgender anyone else. I know I don't like it when other people misgender me. So the first question is, how do you self-identify with your gender, and what does that definition mean to you? As I said before, my self-identification is bigender, and what that means is I am 2 genders. In this case, I would specifically identify as a man and a woman. What does that definition mean to me? Honestly, it means that I wake up most days and I feel kind of gender fluid, may be the best way to put it. I don't feel particularly like either gender, but also like both at the same time. But I do have some days where I wake up and I feel like a woman. On those days, I don't experience dysphoria. I don't feel that male part of me. And then on some days, I feel like a man. And I don't want breasts. I don't want curves. I don't want any of that. Question number 2, what pronouns honor you? I technically accept he, him, she, her, and they, them. But I feel a different way in women's clothes when I'm having a female day. And those are the days that I prefer she and her. And when I show up in boys' clothes with the beard and all that, that's usually when I prefer he and him. And the rest of the time, I prefer like they or them. My friend found this cool thing that's like a bracelet. You do different colored bracelets, and depending on the color of the bracelet, that's the pronoun people should call you. And I think that's a really good idea, and I may actually start doing that. Make it a little easier on everyone else, because I can't just expect them to know what day it is, right? Describe what style of clothing you most often wear. This, which is a weird combination of men's clothes and women's clothes. I find I wear women's clothes more often, but that's not because I'm a woman. It's because that's the clothes I've bought over my span of my lifetime. I don't have a lot of clothes that are for guys. Number 4, talk about your choices with body hair. How do you style your hair? Kind of however. Basically, I just kind of flip it to the side, or I'll put it back or to the side. Do you have facial hair? No, but when I'm having due days, I usually, if I have the time, I draw it on. What do you choose to shave or not shave? I don't know, I kind of just shave whenever I feel like it. To be fair, I'm like, okay, this is bothering me, swoop. And then I just let it grow until I can't deal with it anymore. Again, I don't groom based on what other people think or say. Like, who cares? Okay, so number 5, talk about cosmetics. Do you choose to wear makeup? Yes. I love makeup, especially when I started dressing as a man. I thought that, you know what, it's just a new challenge. Do you paint your nails? My fingernails are not painted right now. I do paint my nails, but it has nothing to do with me being a guy or not. When I do paint my nails, they don't dry fast enough, and I usually hit them off something. It drives me nuts. And I also work with my hands, so even if I do spend a long time painting my nails and they finally get perfect, they chip. And I hate it. And what type of soaps, perfumes do you use, if any? I don't use perfume or cologne. I think it smells weird. But soaps wise, regardless of my gender, I use Old Spice because it smells so good. I like it. I like the deodorant. I like the body wash. I use the hair putty in my hair. I think it smells great. 6. Have you experienced being misgendered? If so, how often? Yeah. And I'll tell people. I don't have a problem with that. I just ask that people try, afterwards, and I really hate when people don't. So yes, I have been misgendered. It sucks. It's usually because people don't know, or they think when I dress like a guy that it's, oh, okay, well, this is just you dressing up. 7, do you experience dysphoria, and how does that affect you? Yes, I definitely experience dysphoria, especially when I wake up in the morning and I'm a guy and I have boobs and I can't stand it. It kind of sucks to be like in your body and not feel like your body is the right body. Okay, so talk about children. Are you interested in having children? Yes, I'm definitely interested in having children, but I'm also interested in adopting children. Would you want to carry a child if that were an option for you? I want 5 kids, so even if I can only have one of my own, I want to do it because I want to experience that feeling. I grew up in a big family and I want a big family, and I love children. A parent is something that I've always wanted to be. And do you want to be the primary caretaker for any children you might have? I'm cool with that. I enjoy it, spending time with children, and I would not hate being a primary caretaker for my kids as long as I could do some stuff on the side. I'm totally okay with that. Okay, so number 9, talk about money. Is it important to you that you provide for a family financially if you choose to have one? It's important that I can. And not even just specifically me, so like me and whoever I end up with, I think it's important that we are able to provide for children financially. Is it important to you that you earn more than any partner you might have? No. Do you prefer to pay for things like dates? Okay, here's my date rule. Whether I'm having a female day, a male day, whatever, I don't think it's a gendered thing to pay for dates. If you ask someone out on a date, you pay. They ask you out, like, if I'm like, hey, let's go to the movies, they're like, yeah, totally, I pay for the movie date. They're like, hey, let's go for dinner, they pay for the movie date. That's how it works. Then it's fair. Anything else you want to share about your experience with gender? Gender, I think, is kind of fluid. It took me legitimately 22 years to finally realize that I identify as by gender, and it's always been something I've kind of had in the back, and honestly, I was content to be female before. Misgendering was not something that bothered me, and it's something that bothers me now. And so I have more questions, but they're questions from my friends.